Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I have the world. The world is the obstacle. That probably sounds familiar. And temperance is the opportunity. Okay, so yeah, starting with the world. Again, some very interesting changes between the Marseille deck and the Waite deck, particularly the objects that the world, the central world character is holding. The Marseille deck has um, what I've read as being interpreted as like a vessel in her right hand or on our left, and then so it's like a receptive object on the one side symbolically, and then like an active object on the right, feminine, masculine kind of duality here, and it's I kind of have a sort of unique interpretation of this card. Um, I think this card is often seen as the end the end of the cycle, and it kind of often takes on interpretations that are similar to the 10 and the 20 card. Not exactly, but it's often I think seen as this totality and a balance, but nonetheless, it's like I see all the balanced cards as representing stasis in a lot of ways. So for a card that's in this obstacle theme, often those are related to things being overly constrictive, overly uh, stultified. Is that a word? um, but anyway, I see this card as being a variant of the magician, and where where the magician is holding one hand up and the other hand down, and he's like channeling whatever energy, ideas, things, symbolically performing this channeling act from top to bottom or from bottom to the top. I see the world character as performing that kind of channeling from left to right, and I see both of them as representing like a singular individual. I see them both as representing um, potential, like also like all the aces in all the four suits. Like it's like a radical, focused, individualized sort of energy and theme. But yeah, but I see the magician as being integrated into a system where he lets things, in the moment, he lets things pass from top to bottom or bottom to top, sublimating, sublimating subconscious ideas into highly conceptualized creative realizations, or taking those highly conceptualized ideas and sublimating them into, these deep unconscious urges and inspirations and passions and things. In contrast to that, I see the world as representing a very similar type of activity of channeling, but as channeling the past into the future and the future into the past. I see this card as representing like a really graceful, um, a great graceful timeliness about yourself. So it's kind of like doing doing the things that you are the age to do, and not to mention having the sense of what those things are. But it's like it's it could be seen as aging gracefully. It could be seen as um, not growing up too early. And there sometimes it's weird to see like kids that are just really neurotic and serious and organized, and it's kind of like you're a kid, like go crazy a little bit, be creative, have weird fantasies and dreams and stuff. It's also weird often to see older people who are very childlike, and it's like, okay, you've done a lot of growing up, like you're kind of, there are these I think that there are these graceful periods that people can occupy in their lives. um, Sometimes it means taking on the position of an apprentice or a novice, and accepting that you have no idea what the hell's going on. You can defer authority to other people because you know where you belong in time. You know you're at the beginning. Sometimes it's accepting the responsibility of being the authority figure and stepping up when you realize, like, okay, I'm the most mature person here. This, both of those actions, even though they're inverted, I think take on like I think they require a certain awareness, a certain type of grace or finesse. It's always really nice for me to see people that are old, that are in their advanced years, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, and they have a certain, it's like they have a certain style in their clothing. They have a certain style in the way they carry themselves. They occupy themselves with things that are just not even dignified for their age, just very reasonable. Like they just embrace their place in time. I kind of see the world as representing that. It's you know the world is a the world in a lot of ways is a timeless place. There are many things that are brand new. Like you can literally go outside and interact with technologies that were invented very recently, with individuals that were very recently born. The world is full of brand new things, and also the world is full of ancient things. And I kind of see this card ideally as finding that perfect place where you fit yourself right in the chain of those things. You figure out what your place is in that order of maturity or newness or whatever. But here we see this as an obstacle, so I would interpret this as not occupying not occupying that ideal place. Either it could be rushing ahead. It could be you know stagnating and sticking around in the past, in an era that has already passed you by, but you're still holding on to it. This is great advice for me, by the way. I am chronically teenage-like in many ways. Um, and then as far as the opportunity, temperance. It's spelled the same way in French and in English. Is it? Wait, temperance. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. By the way, also, every time I see Le Monde, I just see lemon and then DE, and it's kind of the oval is kind of a shape of a lemon. Anyways, temperance. Yeah, this is a fourth degree card, 14, 4. You know, it's a card of stability and balance and order. Kind of hard to interpret often. I've spent quite a bit of time reading into a lot of the theories, the background for this card. Some interesting similarities, some interesting differences. The foot, presumably, that we see that is visible on the Temperance card in the Marseille, and the partially submerged foot of the Waite Temperance card. Um, not entirely alike, but at the same time, both acknowledging that something is happening with this foot. In the Marseille card, in the Marseille deck in general, purple is a really rare color. It also is in the Waite, and it's in terms of the colormancy meaning of the colors, which plays a much bigger role in the Marseille deck. It signifies a blend of red and blue, which on its own signifies the balance between feelings and actions. Um, purple is a color that is like it represents the kind of wisdom that you get from having experienced both of those and blended them together. And we can maybe try and imagine how much of this angel figure is purple underneath. Some people theorize it's just that one toe that's peeking out. Some people think that the almost the entire body is clad in purple. But nonetheless, I think this card symbolizes a balance that is specifically related to blending. Um, Temperance, the temperance movement, um, like in terms of abstaining from alcohol, there was a part of the virtue of temperance, which is pretty old. There was two sort of versions of it in ancient Greece, but one of the interpretations of it as related to alcohol wasn't necessarily abstinence, but it was mixing water into the wine to dilute it to get a mixture that wouldn't lead to excessive intoxication, but it wasn't also the total replacement of the wine with the water. So it was like a balance between the two. Also, there's the word temperance, and tempering is also often used when dealing with finding the right balance or creating the right blend of chemical mixtures, of getting the right balance of temperatures of metals when performing metallurgical mixtures, tempering a sword, using temperature and using the right amount of temperature, finding that perfect amount, not too hot, not too cold, to get the results that you want. Um, Temperance is a virtue that's very popular across pretty much every single religion. Um, Buddhism is, you know, jam packed with temperance. It's the middle path. You know, the the Siddhartha Buddha wasn't, he didn't want you to go too crazy, be too passionate, but also he didn't ascribe, complete sort of just almost mortifying yourself with just a complete kind of selfless annihilation of your emotions and your personality. He believed in the middle path, right? His whole enlightenment was realized when he heard a musician teaching his student to tune his stringed instrument, whatever the stringed instrument of the area was, and he was giving the advice that if you don't tighten the string enough, it won't produce the proper tone. The tone won't sustain itself beautifully. But if you tighten it too much, the string will snap. So he was like, it's the middle path. And this is as Siddhartha was meditating under a tree, and that hit him as a realization, applying to all things. So yeah, I think this card, it's not that clear on the surface of it. The pouring water from one jug into another it's not obvious that wine is being diluted. That's just one of the ways of reading into it. Yeah, the other mixture is, it's kind of it's a human figure. It's an angelic figure. It's got angel wings. Unlike some of the other angels depicted, it's not flying. It's standing on the ground. So again, it's kind of like a mixture of the aloft angelic with the grounded human beings. Maybe that's what that purple foot represents. It's in the place where you make contact and ground yourself, despite being, a sky a sky dwelling winged creature. That's where the ideal balance and wisdom is. But yeah, I think the opportunity here, given that interpretation, is pretty straightforward. It's, in situations that where it may seem like the option is either to go all or nothing. This would be, I think, a good reminder that there is a middle path, that you could take a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, perhaps. Certainly an option to consider that is very useful for people like me. It's often pretty easy for me to adopt my way or the highway attitude, in particular tasks or endeavors or deals or whatever. This is certainly a card of compromise, both, could be applied to both yourself, compromising with your own needs and desires, or compromising in the dealings of other people. As a fourth degree card, I think it does symbolize a state of balance in a place that intersects between the dealings of people, of human beings. Those are the cards like 4, 5, 6, 7, and the Queen and King cards. Intersecting, the 4 intersects between that theme and the kind of earthly theme as depicted in the 2, 3, 4, and 5 cards in the Pages and Queens, concerning, tangible matters of resources, things of the earth. The suit of Pentacles in its representation of like tangible things of value, especially that come out of the ground, water, minerals, fruits and vegetables, metals, soil. Yeah, I think this card, I don't think this card is meant to be interpreted as dealing with too many abstract ideas, heavenly notions, to use that term poetically. So I do think it's more related to, things like diet, things that you put into your body, places where you take yourself, physical places in the world that you occupy, the way you interact with other people in matters of tangible physical resources, how you share food, how you share alcoholic beverages, for instance, who pays for what, those kinds of things, as opposed to how you share, how you distribute morals or values, or what kind of abstract ideas you bestow onto others, which in the information age that we're dealing with, that we're living in, I think that's often more common than the kind of tangible things this card may relate to. There's a lot of people, statistically, there's a very good chance that anyone watching this is more concerned with abstract social evaluations of themselves, like likes, upvotes, hearts on whatever social media, than they are concerned with, the quality of the food and drink that they put into their body, let's say. But yeah, I don't think that card is describing this. That would be more like, the 6, 7, 8, and 9, with the 8 and 9 specifically addressing the very abstract. But yeah, so what we got here is some sort of obstacle related to not being timely, not having not occupying a place in the world's what's that, like Parthenon of time. That's not an overcomplicated way of describing things at all, but yeah, finding a place for yourself in the world where you're timely, and so lacking that, and then the opportunity to find, to pay attention to balance, particularly as it applies to, tangible goods, food, money, things like that, and the way that you relate to other people in relationship to those types of things. Thanks for watching. Drop me a like if you had a super awesome time, or a comment if you would like to be entered into a super happy, fun draw for a free one-on-one reading. Those will get picked on Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.